I want to welcome you back to Black Site Tonight. We're going to talk about President Trump's press conference with California Democrats exposing their scams and lies. First, I would like for you to subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, hit that notification button, but also comment on this video. President Trump visited California today after the California wildfires, and he exposed Mayor Karen Bass and Governor Newsom and many other these California officials who did not protect California from these wildfires. We know that the Palisades area and other areas ran out of water when the fire was truly raging in those communities, but we know about the DEI hires, the police chief, and other people, that these people were not prepared like many people, experts told them that this could possibly happen. So at the press conference, President Trump let Karen Bass know, she let many of these California officials know that yes, he will help rebuild California. Yes, he will give the money to California, but he's giving them different ways to rebuild California than being all on the hands of the government. He believes that private contractors can come in to certain areas and clean out the residency so they can start to rebuild as soon as possible. But he also talked about FEMA, that FEMA is out of touch, that FEMA doesn't know the areas that they're dealing with, especially something like California, that maybe California would know better how to rebuild California and how to get the services as quickly as possible to the residents who are suffering. Right now in California, you probably have 100,000 homes, millions of acres. How do you rebuild? Do you get the best builders in the country to come out there and rebuild the areas? Do you give money to the homeowners and say, hey, are you willing to give up this land? Are you willing to take this money and probably leave California, go to Texas, Arizona, Vegas, Nevada, Montana, Idaho? I don't know. But this type of catastrophe, the biggest in American history, is going to be extremely difficult to rebuild in a short period of time. This may take 10, maybe 15 years to rebuild these areas, because you have to clean out all the materials, then start the rebuilding process, bring in engineers, bring in decorators, everybody that you may need. And one thing you have in the White House, you have a builder. You have President Trump. You have builders out in California. But will Karen Bass, who's a longtime antagonist of President Trump, will Gavin Newsom, will the Democrat-led legislator in California listen? Because these are the people who helped create the problem, then say they want to fix it. When you have a problem like this, you have to learn. You have to say, hey, I made a mistake. But these people right here don't believe that they have made a mistake. They believe that this is something that just happened. You knew that in California, it's dry season. Those things need to be raked. Fires need to be started by the government to make sure things like this don't spread. But they didn't do this. We know that Karen Bass was in Ghana. We know that Gavin Newsom didn't have an answer. We know that certain areas didn't have any water. We know that a large percentage of the homeowners lost insurance because they were angry at California at the cost it may cause them if it happens to be another catastrophe which happened. So the people of California are going to suffer. And the federal government is going to have to print billions, damn near $1 trillion, to rebuild California. And these people act like they did nothing wrong. They are basically saying California is doing a fine job, a good job. The firefighters didn't have all the tools they needed. We saw that Karen Bass cut a large percent of the firefighters, and in a memo that was presented, she wanted to cut more funds, and they would have lost more firehouses if it was up to her in her administration. So this whole thing that's going on in California right now is a disgrace. This shows you how government has gotten so big and so incompetent that they can't solve basic problems for the people. Certain areas should know that, hey, this is dry season, this is fire season. We're going to have to protect the people of Los Angeles County, California, in certain districts. And they were not able to do it. Somebody has to be held accountable. If it's Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom, the county executive, I don't know. But when you have to spend this much money on this catastrophe because politicians can't seem to get everything right. They didn't have any water. They had an empty vessel where they controlled the water, had no water in it. Why was that happening? The woman was making $799,000. So what's going on here? But they're going to plead innocent. They're going to say we did nothing wrong. And I'm glad the president is calling them to the fire, because this is a lot of money. And this shows you the incompetence of local and state government. Now the federal government is going to have to come in and bail them out. This press conference was something to see. It seemed like Karen Bass went in there. She wanted to be strong and argue. But like I told you, some people ain't cut out for the job. When Giuliani had 9/11, he stood tall. Karen Bass shrunk. Everybody knows that. And Gavin Newsom, he looked like he just didn't know what the hell was going on. And he probably ended his presidency in 2028. I would love to hear your comments in the comment section. I want to thank you for listening to Black Site. Hope you subscribe to this channel. Smash that like button, but also share this video.